Apple is known for doing things no other company would even dare to do it. For example, adding a touch-based system to a laptop, and they exactly did the same in 2016 by introducing Touchbar to their MacBook Pros. Now, a lot of people did not like it, some people liked it, and very few people loved it. And I was one of those very few people that loved it. Let me tell you why. It is just like smartphones. The keyboard on smartphones is dynamic. It keeps changing depending on what kind of app you are using. It gives you emojis, predictive text, and someone like me who has difficulty with spellings, it is actually useful to have text prediction on laptop for words that are harder to spell, such as psychology, pneumonia, neighbor, Czechoslovakia. Now, these are extremely tough words, but there are words that we use on a regular basis. I have difficulty in spelling them out. A lot of people have that kind of difficulty, and the touch bar is actually helpful because it gives you the correct word and you can select it in a single tap. Now you can go to Google and write a few letters of that word and you will get the exact spelling of that word, but it is better to get that word in a single tap. That's what touch bar does. And there are other use cases as well, but for me this is one of the best use case for the touch bar. If you're playing songs, you have the ability to control the volume using a slider, which is a much better experience in my opinion. Some people did not like it because they missed the physical function keys. The touch bar also had function keys, but it was touch based function key. But having a dynamic kind of system is actually useful on laptops for productivity purpose, especially if you're video editing. Like if you open Final Cut Pro, the touch bar gives you options like scrubbing through the entire timeline with just a swipe of a finger, which is very convenient. It also gives you the ability to control the audio levels of the footage, which is also great. But using this free utility called Command Post, you are able to unlock a lot of other features using the touch bar. And the utility that I'm talking about is Command Post. A lot of people already know about it, a lot of people use it, but if you didn't know about it, let me tell you why it is useful for editing faster in Final Cut Pro. So the Command Post is a small utility that can be used in many scenarios. Like it gives you the option to customize the external controllers such as the Loop Deck or the Stream Deck, which is extremely useful for streaming purpose because it gives you shortcuts and macros, and while editing videos or editing photos it is also useful. So Command Post gives you the option to customize that, but it also has the option for customizing the touch bar, which is available on the MacBooks, at least till the M1 based MacBooks that launched in 2020. Let me tell you how I use it. The Command Post has something called banks. It is pages. So on each page you can set 3-4 effects, 5 effects, depending on how much space you are using when you use the name of the effect. So you can search any effect and then set it, give it a name, and it will appear on the touch bar. And with a single tap on that thing, whatever footage is highlighted in the Final Cut Pro timeline, the effect will be added to that footage. The Command Post calls these pages banks. It has 9 pages, 9 banks, and you can set 4-5 effects. So there are a lot of effects. I actually use only 2 pages. One is for fast edit, where I have kept a button to add a text with single tap. Then there is an adjustment layer. When I tap on it, an adjustment layer is added to the timeline, and then there is a transition effect, fading effect, that is added to the button also. So I don't have to go find that effect. It is already showing on the touch bar and I have to tap on it to add that effect. On the second page I have color grading, so I have set different LUTs I can use on different scenarios in different footage. Like for example, I have a footage from my Canon 750D, I have a LUT for that. I have a footage from Sony, I have a LUT for that. So I have different LUTs that I can apply with a single tap. Normally if I don't have a touch bar, I will have to go find these effects and then apply it on my timeline. And when you are in a creative workflow, it is kind of distracting to go find these things to apply to your timeline. Obviously you can do a lot of things using keyboard shortcuts, and I do use keyboard shortcuts also, but keyboard shortcuts do not add effect to a particular timeline, like fading effect, whatever third-party effect you have added to Final Cut Pro, you will be able to set it in the command post and apply it in a single tap. It was really a game changer for me since I started using it last year. It speeded up my video editing efforts. And the M1 based MacBook Pro 13 that was launched in 2020 is the last one to have the touch bar. So partly it was one of the reasons that I opted for the M1 based MacBook Pro instead of the ones that were launched this year, because they don't have the touch bar. So if you love the touch bar, probably this is one of the reasons to convince yourself for using the touch bar for faster editing. Otherwise, if you want to use keyboard shortcuts, there are other ways, but you will have to purchase an extra hardware, for example a separate keyboard, or spend some money on Loop Deck or Screen Deck. But the touch bar is built into the MacBook Pro, so I don't have to carry any additional hardware. Plus it gives me the option to do things faster. Now if you have got a MacBook Pro that has got touch bar, now you know how you can utilize it to the maximum potential for editing videos faster. If you do not have and you are still thinking whether or not go for the previous year's MacBook or wait for the next generation's MacBook, I can recommend that you can go for the M1 based MacBook Pro because it is powerful enough. It does everything I throw at it and I'm extremely happy with it. In fact, I have found a way to add additional 8 hours to the battery life if I'm not using the charger. You can check out the video on the channel, and there are other videos on the channel also. You can read the detailed article, the link will be in the description of this video. And that's it in this video. I will see you in the next one. Till then, take care.